Now, Ortex is reporting GameStop borrowed as high as 64.65%, previously reported at 17.37%, so a huge jump according to Ortex, and the short percentage volume is almost at an all-time high for AMC, all the way up to about 70%, which is very, very close. Touching on GameStop's chart real quick, we're trading at $22.68 currently as I'm making this video. GameStop came up to this trend line, got rejected, came back down, got a bounce, and it is definitely in a decision zone. Same with the S&P 500. Now, there are more puts to calls expiring in the money currently on GameStop. However, it does look like fading volume on a sell-off, which would be a bullish signal going forward. I personally have a little bit of puts on GameStop temporarily to ride this thing down, because you know exactly what they like to do to these stocks. So coming towards Friday, I do think they are going to try and get this gap fill on GameStop down to about $18.50 or somewhere in that zone. I think that is going to play out. That is the more likely case scenario. However, based off of the volume, based off of where it bounced, it does look like it could potentially come back and retest $24.75 before potentially making another high or selling off even further. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Of course, just to disclose, I never sold my GameStop shares. I still do have my GameStop shares, and I still do believe in everything about GameStop. I think everything goes for a GameStop, that goes for AMC. They are both in the same exact boat. With that being said, touching on AMC, very little volume on AMC. We are starting to scale up 2% on the day, but we are in this spot. In no matter what cycle you lay out in front of AMC, this thing is showing that it is going to come back down and retest about $4.10 to $4.15 either by the end of the week or early next week. No matter you flip the cycles, no matter you play out the cycles regular, it shows AMC is going to sell off even further, just a little bit, before getting that major rip. I'm waiting for that further sell-off before I end up loading up calls on AMC. Again, I was watching for that April 12th date, between April 10th and April 14th. I'm looking between that zone to load up on calls for a few months out and ride them up to the next point of interest for AMC to have another peak or a relative peak. That is just my outlook on AMC. That is my outlook on GameStop. Going forward, I still do own a bunch of AMC. I still do add to my AMC and APE going forward. Touching on some AMC Ortex numbers, 24.97% short interest. Utilization is maxed out, and the cost to borrow on Ortex is not being reported today, which is interesting to say the least, because we have seen over the past couple of days the cost to borrow rising from 200% to 250 to 300 to 350 to 375, and now it's not being reported. The estimated short interest for a 5.51%, utilization at 77%, and the cost to borrow also not being reported. Now, somebody came up with a very good question. What makes you think that they are actually going to pay their cost to borrow fees? And I just assume it's mandatory, but I do think I'm going to try and call various law firms, maybe call FINRA, maybe call Fidelity, and ask them what happens, if the cost to borrow fee isn't paid. I would assume that position is forcefully closed. I will get back to you on that. But if you have not yet, guys, please smash a like on the video. Let's move on. Schwab's $7 trillion empire built on low rates is showing cracks. The company faces pressure from bond losses and rising cash yields, and executives say business is misunderstood and that they have enough liquidity. You guys let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. But it's not just them. It looks like Citadel Securities is about to borrow more money, but didn't they make quote-unquote record profits last year? They blew through $19 billion pretty quickly, if you ask me. What do you guys think about this in the comments as well? Now, it's not just them. Deutsche Bank looks to be next up following Citadel as their CDSs rise, which we saw is not good for various banks, Silicon Valley, Credit Suisse, so on and so forth. And on top of that, their CDSs are being investigated by regulators. Regulators are signaling out a trade on Deutsche Bank credit default swaps that they suspect fueled a global sell-off on Friday. Regulators have spoken to market participants about the transaction. The contract can be illiquid, so a single bet can trigger big moves per Bloomberg. So you have Nancy Pelosi just sold at a massive loss, countries saying to get rid of the US dollar, sources saying the stock market is about to get obliterated in the next couple of weeks. So Nancy Pelosi, we know she insider trades. We know all of her trades are basically to the T. If anybody had a 100% win rate, it would be Nancy Pelosi. And she just sold for a massive loss. What would that indicate? it would indicate more downside. People saying the market is about to get obliterated in the next couple of weeks indicates more downside. Countries saying to get rid of the US dollar indicates downside for the US stock market. But on top of that, China records human case of H3N8 bird flu. Not again. This is not going to be good, and hopefully it does not spread. Hopefully it's not a big thing like COVID, but this will definitely cause more uncertainty around the economy in general. And banks in France face more than $1 billion in fines in the new tax fraud probe. The investigating relates to a dividend arbitrage strategy known as Cum-Cum. Now, real quick before we get into the S&P 500, guys, make sure to join the Discord down below so you get my trades right away. I took a short on the S&P 500 through puts today, and I disclose my trades right as soon as I make them in Discord. Plus, we talk on the daily. I'm in Discord all the time, and we do not miss stock opportunities. Plus, there's options trading alerts. We post gains, we post losses, and talk stocks all day long. So make sure to join that. The link is under the video. The SPY is currently trading at 395.84, down 0.16% on the day. We're getting a nasty hammer candle on the day with very little volume. And again, more volume was on the buy day than the sell day. However, prior to that, opposite. So vice versa, it is a very dangerous game in the S&P 500, and it is not showing where it necessarily wants to go. However, I do still stand that the SPY is going to make a relative low, and that is why I entered puts today. It broke below the second trend line. It held 395.30, 395.25 right in that level for a bit, and I think tomorrow or end of day, honestly, it's going to break below and retest at least 392. That is my outlook on the S&P 500. Whether it gets a bounce there or whether I'm wrong and it bounces back up. If I am wrong, I'm looking for a retest right around 398.50 for the SPY to make a decision from there on out. But that is my outlook on the SPY. You guys let me know if you are bullish or bearish temporarily in the short term on the S&P 500 and if you have been trading it. Now, President of the European Central Bank admits if banks don't use central bank digital currency, they will lose control. Also, Bank of Japan says central banks needs to be ready to issue a CBDC in order to offer the public a safe digital payment system. Now, 5 major banks were rated over 100 billion fraud in France: HSBC, Societe, BNP, Exxon, and Natixis. If I pronounce any of those wrong, please just don't correct me. I don't know how to pronounce the names of banks in France. I did my best right there. And Sam Bankman-Fried has been charged with bribing at least $40 million of cryptocurrency to benefit Chinese government officials. While Disney begins to lay off more employees, they are beginning to lay off 7,000 employees. So no matter how long this extended period has occurred, you're seeing more layoffs, right? You see them across the board. And as inflation is rising, this is still going to keep happening. Overall, guys, this is my outlook. This is my sentiment going forward. And since we touch on AMC a lot, I'm going to give you a huge benefit. I'm going to play the clip right here so that you guys can use my link and download Moomoo. You can get access to the hottest sectors, including AI, and view their new feature that definitely pertains to AMC. So that is it, guys. I love you all. Lottery Stocks out.
If you're looking for a free broker to start trading, I have the exact one for you. On top of being free, it has a ton of amazing features. Plus, you can get up to 17 free stocks using my link and signing up and making a deposit. I'm going to leave that link under the video. I'm going to take AMC for an example since I talk about it a lot on the channel. There's a new industry chain feature that Moomoo just added, which allows you to track the supply chain of a company. All you have to do is go to market section and click industrial chain, pick movie, and then you are able to check each step of an industry's supply chain. Now, there's a new limited time deal. Once you sign up and deposit $100, you're going to get 2 free AI stocks, which is a hot sector right now. Either ticker symbols AI or BBAI, plus 5 more free stocks. And if you deposit $1,000 or more, you have the opportunity to receive 17 total free stocks. So guys, I'm going to leave that link under the video so you guys can go hit that link, sign up, and make a deposit.